Well, hello. It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week. So, let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And, of course, we're going to have more coronavirus updates. And, maybe I'll talk a little about demonetization. So, let's dive into it. So the pens that I will be using this week are, from left to right, a Centropen 100820, PenBBS 355. Last week, I kept calling it, I kept referring to the virus as a Conid 19. I think Freudian slip, I don't know. This is kind of like a Conid bulk filler. I guess the pen has been on my mind. But I'll mention one of my faults with this pen when I get around to talking about it. Geha 326, Kaweco V14S, Kaweco 37/37G, Parker Vector, Lamy 2000, Nakaya Decapod Twist, Lanxivi Crocodile Clip Celluloid, and a PenBBS 266. And I wrote /308 because I recall that there was some controversy over that when I did the original video. So those are the pens that I'm using this week. I'll be doing my writing sample, as always, in my Bomo art journal. So today is the March 20th episode of this show, even though it's a day late for reasons. March 20th is always payday. I am fortunate to have a job that I can continue to work at this time, so I continue to get paid. It's changed a lot, which I'll talk about later on. But for now, I want to start out with one of my favorites in my collection, a Centropen 100820. It just has an absolutely stunning finish on it. And it's a Czechoslovakian pen from the 1960s, so how about that? Piston Filler. I've used a lot of ink. In fact, I'm pretty sure this won't be here next week at the rate I've been going through the ink. It's just absolutely an amazing pen. And I have some nice pens in my collection, but I keep going back to this one. This one's like my gold standard. I don't know. This pen is probably single-handedly responsible for me developing this interest in pens from behind the Iron Curtain. And believe me, they're not all treasures like this one. Let me just move the microphone slightly because I'm going to bump it. There we go. Hope that didn't make a gross noise. The ink in it is Callifolio. This nib, I wish you could experience it, but I'd probably be scared to let you try it. Callifolio Havane. And you're going to notice something. I intentionally, as I was looking at my pens this week, I noticed an incredible pattern. I don't know if it's my brain or what, behind the inks. So the pens that are new this week are going to appear at the end, and maybe you'll see the pattern too. Quite unintentional. It just happened. So my next pen, like I said, I was calling the Conid version of this pen the virus, I was calling a Conid 19 instead of COVID-19, and I think I was thinking of the Conid bulk fillers in my brain. I would like one. It's not like I'm pursuing one. I do actually have, probably after this whole viral situation is over with, I do have a rather expensive pen on its way. And Conid is shut down sales for now because they're trying to catch up. So, I don't know. Conid isn't very high on my list of pens I want, but they are attractive, just like this. Only they don't come. Of course, this is a thing I added aftermarket. Conid doesn't come with a nice Nemosine reentry nib. Somebody suggested purchasing a reentry nibs from, I think it was Bobby, One of the Chinese retailers, anyway. I did purchase one. You may have not seen it on this channel because it hasn't been on this channel because, oh my god, it's awful. So I won't be going that route anymore. So this is a PenBBS 355, and it has a Nemosine reentry nib. Now that Nemosine has combined forces with Birmingham pens, I'm hoping we'll see some re-entry nibs appear from them, and get these interesting Nemosine nibs too, even if they're under a different brand name. The ink in this one is a Callifolio Grenat, which kind of scratches the same itch in my brain as one of the inks I really like, Montegrappa Bordeaux, which is a discontinued color. Sadly, Montegrappa seems to have chosen to go for a more saturated colors of ink, let's say. But their Bordeaux was one of my absolute favorites of any brand. My next pen has been very stingy with the ink. I've written with it, but it's just slow to go down. This is a Geha 326 that way back when it was originally purchased must have cost 1250 Deutschmarks. It was delivered to me quite full of ink, so a lot of soaking time, a lot of ultrasonic cleaner time. Some of the plating came off the nib in the process, but those are the breaks. I do like it. It's more of a daily writer type of pen, and like I said, very stingy with the ink. So this particular ink is Noodlers Rattler Ill Red. Put in here specifically to experiment and see if I could get some of the staining out of the cartridge, because they don't make cartridges for Geha pens anymore, so I have an original Geha cartridge that was full of dried up ink, probably the ink that I cleaned out of the pen, and it had stained part of the cartridge blue. So I'm curious to see, because I've had good experience with this ink cleaning out stains in the past. I want to see if it's the case here. That brings me to... Oops, wrong way. I don't know, I guess there is no right way, but it bothers me when I hold them that way. A pen that could easily be my daily writer, a Kaweco V14S. Has just a, not exciting, but pleasant daily writer type of nib. Not really a flex nib, just a good writer. Fine nib. The ink in this one is Pilot Blue Black. An ink that I really like. It smells a bit like the preservatives used in dissection. But it's not overpowering unless you hold it really close to your nose. It's just a very nice blue-black color, sort of understated. Last week I felt this need to compare blue blacks, so I had inked up another Kaweco pen. And I thought I was going to do it again this week because I have a few more blue blacks, but I went a different route, as you'll see. This is, oops, that's an ugly K. Kaweco, what is this one? 37/37G. The ink in it is a Parker Quink blue black. It's just a brighter blue black, and I actually like it. But it gives me a totally different feel from the Pilot version of blue black. And one of the other ones I would have tried, I have a bottle of Aurora Blue Black, and I have a bottle of, what is it? Kyonoto Aonibi, which is a blue black, I believe. If I've got the name wrong, I do have a Kyonoto Blue Black. It just may not be that one. Depending on your retailer, it may be getting to be more difficult to order online, which, those are we're trying to protect people. And nothing wrong with waiting and enjoying the pens you already have. Or the inks you already have. It's frustrating if you're out of something, like the correct size latex sack for a vintage pen. But anyway, life goes on. So this is a Parker Jotter. Not the most exciting. Wow, I just wrote Potter. I did graduate from a school in Potter County in Pennsylvania. True story. I have lived almost all my life in rural areas. Maybe not quite as rural as where I live now, but always rural areas. So Potter County, if you know Potter County, is very rural. At least compared to other parts of Pennsylvania. When I've been reading about the death toll in Italy from this horrible virus, it kind of puts it in perspective when I think, wow, that's like 2.5 of my town, or my county plus some. Maybe my county plus the county to the north. Potter County had a lot more people in it. But, yeah, you just think of the whole of the county where I live now, plus the one to our north, just gone. Okay, I got morbid there. Let's get back to pens. We'll save the morbid for the end, if I want to be morbid. I don't really want to be morbid. This is a Lamy 2000, which is generally my daily writer. It went on a bit of a hiatus. I just decided to experiment with other pens as daily writers, and that was instructive to me. The Parker Vector didn't take part in that experiment. It did used to be my daily writer because it was my only pen for many years. But the Lamy 2000 is better. Sorry, Parker fans. I actually refilled this pen with the same ink last week. The Parker Jotter is still going with the original fill and just that one little converter it has. So, yeah, which one do I like better? Hate to say it, Lamy 2000. But I have to thank the Parker Jotter for getting me into fountain pens in the first place. And that just shows the importance of good entry-level pens for maintaining and continuing this hobby and continuing to get people interested in this hobby. And then we come to my Nakaya Decapod Twist. Hasn't been inked up for a while. Who was it? I just saw one of the pen people on Instagram posting that they didn't like the photo they took because there's a speck of dust on their pen. It wasn't a Nakaya, but it looked like an Urushi finish. And I'm just like, little dust, little fingerprints, whatever. That's how I roll. Hey, and since I'll be teaching online this week, and for the foreseeable future, it's kind of exciting that I may actually be able to use this pen at school. School now being my living room. Or kitchen, because I've got a couple of labs I'm going to film in the kitchen this afternoon. Drew a blank there for a second what the ink was. Sailor Jentle Epinard. I know there's a fair number of you who don't like my live streaming, but that will be a part of staying in touch with my students, because this is a new world for them too. So it'll be good to have that interaction instead of dealing with a video screen. Well, it's still a video screen, but at least there's a live person behind it. And, bought just for the channel, but this thing will be handy for writing things and such, and showing my face. Pre-recorded videos I can do with this setup, or I've got a couple of other options that'll be involved. This is a pen I haven't had out for a while. I've always liked it. I felt really sad I accidentally dropped it and broke it. Didn't do the neatest job gluing it, which is part of what makes me scared to glue for some repairs. Has a very nifty crocodile clip. Come on, autofocus. And a gorgeous, gorgeous finish. This one, it's a Lanxivi crocodile clip celluloid. Oops, Lanxivi. And the name just has such an evocative... well, the name is very evocative. It's Noodlers. Meh. But here's the fun part of it. Dragons. Whoops. Napalm. For his faults, Mr. Tardif does come up with some very clever names, and he has some very nice, very, very nice colors of ink. Some have properties that make you go, meh, but then he has others that just really make up for it. I haven't written with this ink in a long time, but it's been kind of fun. And my final pen, I remember I did a first impression. I had two of them because I didn't realize I was getting two of the same pen. I thought I was getting two different ones. And then there was some confusion over the box had one thing and the pen had another. So this is a PenBBS 366. But I know I wrote 308 on at least one of the reviews. And got some controversy and people debating over what it actually was. I'm going to go with the name that's on it, but I wrote both names on the video description just because of that referencing back. Wow, I just called it a Parker. PenBBS, referencing back to that controversy. One thing that's changed since I purchased this pen, I've put a new nib in it. I recall that it had a bent nib, and I recall whining that it was a little bit too scratchy for my tastes. But check out that nib. Yeah, this has been ground, I think, by Bobby. He's a Chinese seller. And by that I mean sells Chinese pens, like PenBBS and so on. Who knows? He might even be Chinese. I'm not actually sure about that. But anyway, it's one he had ground to an architect's nib. So I like this nib on this pen better than what was on it. I will concede that unless I look closely, I don't see like a huge advantage or difference with this nib, but it's definitely better than what I had on it. So I have a Rohrer and Klingner ink in it. This one is Blue Mare. Blue Mare? I did not look up how to pronounce it. The thing that's supposed to make an architect's nib different is it's supposed to be long this way rather than a stub which is long this way. And coloring in this way, I can definitely see it. And you can see it on this little asterisk too. So what do they say? Different strokes for different folks? So those are the pens and inks that I've been using throughout the week, and these are the 3 I inked up this week. Now this one, that's pretty much a given. I just always put the Sailor Epinard in that Nakaya. I like that ink, and I like it in that pen. And then these. Dismal, bright. What was I looking for this week? Something bright and happy. And we had some cold temperatures this week, 5 degrees one night, and doing better than my friends in the northern part of the state who were getting like negative 13 Fahrenheit and so on, but cold. Just checking the time. The battery's looking a little iffy, so probably good. I'm not going to babble too long. But anyway, not teaching this week. You'd think I'd be happy. But no, that was depressing. It was only going to be 3 days because we were supposed to have Thursday and Friday off for spring break anyway. But yeah, the governor declared a state of emergency, and that was it. So here I am at home, and it's not like I could go with my original plans to go to the Black Hills. I'm just here at home. I've done lots of cleaning. You probably can't tell from this view. No, you can't. You can't see anything. The living room isn't totally done, but that's okay because I've done it pretty in depth in other rooms, and I'm working on the living room, and it'll be done before Monday. So that'll be exciting. So I'm very happy about that. Thanks to Chris Sains, who's another pen person on YouTube. I actually have been binge watching a TV show that I can't believe I'm binge watching while I've been doing this cleaning. So not sure if I thank you or not, Chris Sains, but I've been binge watching the 100. It is the science part of me wants to scream, and the real life part of me wants to scream at him too quite a lot. And yeah, the characters can be impulsive and stupid, and I teach teenagers, and these are all supposed to be teenagers, so yeah, I know how teenagers are, but oh my god, it just makes me groan sometimes, and yet I keep binge watching, so there is that. Probably not something I ever would have tried if it weren't for her, but so thanks. I have enjoyed, I've watched both seasons, so I can't really watch it unless I want to rewatch it. Dark, which is a German series, it's very good. Deutschland 86 is another good German series. Trying to think what else I enjoyed over the winter. Well, this wasn't on my script, so I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, getting lots of cleaning done. Haven't done much writing other than letter writing. But that's okay because I'm getting my environment to create in cleaned up. So, yeah, it just kind of gets ahead of me sometimes. And a lot got ahead of me. And now Science Olympiad is totally over. And a lot of other things have changed. I'm here. So, we'll be getting some work done. I think I mentioned on my little video I did on Thursday, I had a kerfluffle with my computer. In other words, it wouldn't turn on. I don't know what was going on. Maybe I should blame Chris Sains for that too, because I was starting to watch the 100 on her recommendation on that computer, and then it was having trouble switching to the next episode. So I thought, well, I'll just restart the computer. What the heck? And then it wouldn't let me restart. It just kept staying where it was. It was acting all funny. So I held down the power button to force it to power off finally, because it wasn't doing that. And then it wouldn't power back on. So maybe I was stupid and did something wrong there. I don't know. But that was awful. So I've been using my work computer for everything all week. But my excuse is I got to learn how to use it for video for my teaching online now. So anyway, Apple is mailing me a box. I will mail the computer to them. The nearest service center is in Rapid City, South Dakota, which is 180 miles or so away. And I just thought, yeah, let's not go to the city, drive 180 miles, either spread what I have, which as far as I know I don't have anything, or bring something back. So here I am. But be able to mail the computer out, and I did wipe it down with a Clorox wipe for them, and hopefully they clean it. They don't send anything nasty back. The virus is wandering into more rural parts of North Dakota now. It's moved out of the big cities. Not on this end of the state yet, because I'm on the western end of the state where nobody wants to live, but it'll get here. We're just going to be a little behind the curve. And that's a thing with pandemics. Or anything, really. It's just slower to get to rural areas, for better or for worse. Continuing to cook, I experimented with a new recipe for pizza crust, so I now have a recipe for pizza crust that works pretty well, that uses 100% whole wheat flour, so that was exciting. Made a pizza with it, and I've got the other half of the dough frozen. I'll get it out here in a few days when I'm ready for more pizza, and use the other half. I used to work in a pizza place in high school and college, so we didn't have whole wheat crust, but it did bring back memories of working with the dough balls. And you get them out of the freezer, you have to let them raise, and then you have to work them, you weigh them out to the right size, because you have to get them into the different sizes of dough that they use, and then you let them raise some more. And it's just brought back memories of all that. Horrible days when we had to use the freshly worked dough, and it's really slow to roll out because it hasn't quite relaxed enough yet, and it's really tight. Good times. Good reason I'm a teacher. And actually, I still follow that restaurant on Facebook, and they are doing like restaurants here, delivery and takeout only, no sit-down service. Bars are closed. But it was kind of fun. I'm going to make a vegetarian Mexican dish tonight. For breakfast tomorrow, I'm going to make a crustless mushroom quiche. And I'm going to make chicken soup during the week, like a white chicken chili type of soup. So, I'm eating well. Got to dive into some of my stored food, I think. But that's okay. I will wander down to the school a little to film some labs and things that I can't do at home. My physical science is in the physics unit, and right now we're doing like mixing different temperatures of water and so on, or heating a solid and then dropping it into the water. So I can do a lot of that at home. I did bring home a digital thermometer from school so I can run it, and then the kids can get the results that way. Not the same as doing it, but hey, at least they get some kind of lab experience out of it. And I think this will be a good push. I teach high school. I think it'll be a good time to say, take on more personal responsibility, take on your own notes. Yes, we'll do the live stream thing once or twice a week, but you're more on your own, kind of like at a college environment. And I think that's a good thing. I think, especially at the age group I teach, that's what we should be doing, is pushing them to do more on their own. Maybe they don't need to be in school every day. Maybe they can do more on their own. Maybe you just schedule or personal contact just for certain days of the week. That may be something that comes out of this that I think would be a good thing. Make school more of a hybrid. Now, part of what's up with school is it's also a babysitting service. And I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean, I'm being realistic here. Parents work. They need their kids to be in a safe place. Where do you put them? Well, school's a good place. So what do you do with the younger kids? I'm really glad I'm not a parent of a younger kid right now. I feel bad for my colleagues who are, especially since they have to teach their classes and manage their own kids and make sure their own kids are getting educated. And then you have those parents who are working through this and have lost that daycare for their kids. So what do you do with them? So, it's just a very difficult situation, and hopefully as a society we can learn some things from this. I think a lot of people have trouble picturing it just because you can't see it. I don't like to scroll through Facebook. I'll look at like the first few things on my feed and that's it, because those are usually the people I care about. But last night I just was scrolling, and there was a person, I didn't even know their name, but they were responding to somebody else's comment and complaining how wrong it was that the kids were getting denied their prom this year, and that the parents should just get together and do the prom despite what the school says. And just like, you are missing the point of this. There's a reason we are suspending all of this. We are trying to keep people safe. And it's not necessarily about the kids, it's about the older people that they come in contact with. So, anyway, I hope our society will start to figure that out. Another thing that's weird with something like this, the goal is to get through this and say, wow, that was a whole lot of fuss over nothing, because we prevented the something from ever happening. We don't want that disaster to happen. And the other thing is, people don't get exponential growth. You know, if I take the number, 2 to the power of x, we double every day. Well, your first day you have 1, your second day you have 2, third day you have 4, next day you have 8, then 16, then 32, then 64. So the rate of doubling just increases really quickly. So at first your growth is very slow, looks very slow, until all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, what happened? It's all over. Sorry, I did swear there. I just realized that. We're trying to avoid that oh shoot moment. So yeah, be safe. And I don't really have too much else to add here. Are you working remotely? That would be interesting. I know a few people commented on that in my Thursday video. I was interesting hearing from some of the teachers who are teaching. Some are doing like me. They're doing a hybrid. Some are doing they have to provide regular structured classes online at specific times. And some people are just doing it totally as an e-learning type thing where it's not live. And the battery just went dead on camera A over there, so I think this is a good place to close it up. So I want to thank you for watching, and if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And what are you doing over this break? Enforced or not? What are you doing for fun? I'll just mention also, I wrote demonetization in my video description, so I'll just throw this out there. My spring break video got demonetized for the first 400 or so viewers. Now YouTube has revised its decision, but yay! So, I want to thank you for watching, and again, you'll probably see more content than normal from me. But we'll see you later. Bye-bye.